Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, we're going to focus on how to improve in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And this is a series where I break down some subscriber gameplay and give you the best tips and tricks along the way. In this video, we'll go ahead and feature 3 different subscribers gameplay. If you'd like to be featured, make sure you check out the description below. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you could help me get this video over 500 likes. So if at any point you do enjoy the video or any of the tips, hit that like button. And if you're brand new to the channel, I typically cover Call of Duty news, in-game updates, best class setup, subscriber breakdowns, as well as other tip and trick videos on how to improve at Call of Duty. If any of that's the content you typically like to watch, make sure you subscribe and turn those notifications on by ringing that bell. Let's get into the first breakdown. So for the first breakdown, we're going to actually look at Lionel's gameplay. He's using the Rampart on slums and the mode is control. And the biggest issue I saw with the gameplay altogether is that Lionel isn't very aggressive at controlling the map. He plays a little bit more passive and lets the teammates and the enemies dictate how the map is going to be played. You'll kind of see how this plays out. He's in pretty good position for almost all of his gunfights. You're going to see he doesn't really lose many of these gunfights. He's very accurate. Sensitivity is good. His class setup looks like it synergizes well with what he's trying to do. But overall, it looks like he plays very passive. Instead of pushing to mid-map and trying to get control of that mid-map and kind of get a little bit locked down on this left building, he kind of just waits for the acoustic sensor to give him some information, and obviously it pays off in this particular scenario. You're going to see right here, he gets kind of tunnel visioned when he is aiming down sight, focused on an enemy that's right in front of him. You can see the acoustic sensor, the guy's going to come up behind him. So instead of turning around and focusing on that direction, he's a little late on that turnaround and gets killed from behind. So depending on what map and mode you play, you got to know exactly where the areas on the map that you need to lock down. Ideally for this map, you want to be right in the middle map on that water fountain, head glitching pretty much to the left, middle, then right. Left, middle, then right. Left, middle, then right. And you continue that process. You can see right into the A. Someone's coming through mid. You can go ahead and kill them off the streak. Most of the flow of traffic is going to be towards this left side where the actual A hill is. The play that I think that should have been done at this point or sometime around this point is flanking all the way around the map. It's almost a little late now, but it looks like the A side is heavily contested by enemies and teammates. So it looks like a lot of the rest of the map is easy to flow through and you're going to be pretty open unless someone's just camping a random corner. But luckily with the acoustic sensor, you should be able to pick up on most enemies. So right here, you can see there's not a lot of urgency to recapture this particular hill. There's no particular urgency to go around through mid-map and cause a little bit of distraction. There are a lot of enemies in there. He gets off a little bit easy kill. You can see for the most part, the enemies are starting to flood the area and start capturing the objective. It looks like his teammates are getting destroyed right there, and you can see he doesn't move really much from this area. And coming up in the next couple seconds, you can see his teammates start to flood the area. It's contested, but they only need one more little tick to actually capture that zone. It'll add a minute and a half. You can see they're up in the life count and they got a teammate in there. So all they need to do is rush it, get good map control, and then you're going to see what ends up happening because they don't have that map control. If he would have jumped in that room and helped out his teammate just a little bit longer, they probably would have captured this particular zone. They would have probably won the round because they had the life count on their side. Because they didn't push up for that map control, the heat wave guy is able to come right up to that door, call it in, kill the guy that's in the room, and then push all the enemies away, which ends the timer and allows the enemy to pretty much win that round. So now that he's on defense, you can see that he doesn't really change much up. He plays very passive, allows enemies to flood that room, and they end up taking over this particular room. Because he plays passive, he's able to maintain the streak. But at the end of the day, since the streaks aren't a little bit higher, unless he gets lucky with the care package, those are not the streaks you're typically going to want to use for this mode on this map. So even though he's on defense, the power position hasn't moved. It's still that center area where the water fountain is for this particular mode. As you get a good sight line into this particular objective, you're able to block off the other objectives so people can't run through mid-map. And most of the gunfights you're going to get into are better than 50-50 because you're on a head glitch and the enemy is typically going to be running around. And you can see right here that by the time he actually gets into the objective has already been captured by the enemy team. That particular barbed wire is not going to do much good in that particular area because most of the enemies are going to be funneling from this area right in front of him. You can see they run right by. He is playing it safe, seeing if anyone's going to come around this backside. But the vast majority of the enemies are going to run right in front of him. Saw 3 different people run right by him. Ideally, you want to be on this water fountain and head glitching the enemies through this left section where the vast majority of them are going to be coming through. Then peek the right, and it gives you enough opportunity on that head glitch that even if you get shot, you can readjust, kill yourself, and you're in a pretty good spot. Obviously, he places the barricade to protect that side. He's going to put down some barbed wire once he gets it on this right section. But overall, I would say this is a pretty good player that plays almost too safe. Very low risk, very low reward. And based off what I see in this particular gameplay, this player has a lot more potential than they are actually using. So I think if this player just worked on positioning and overall map control based off that positioning by putting themselves in a power position, all their metrics would improve. Talking about win-loss, score per minute, and KD. And if you guys would like a guide on where the power positions are on each of the maps, let me know down in the comment section below if that's something you'd like to see. And also, again, as a reminder, make sure you hit the like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Let's go ahead and get into the second breakdown. So now we're going to change it up just a little bit. It's still going to be on the map Slums. We're going to be watching Trev Mason actually play with the MX9. So it's a completely different weapon. We're going to be using an SMG. And the mode we'll go ahead and look at is Team Deathmatch. And the biggest difference with Team Deathmatch compared to Control is the spawns. Obviously with Control, the spawns are very predictable. A lot of times people get spawn trapped and it's not really a good thing for Control. But Team Deathmatch, the spawns are a little bit more irregular and they tend to flip. So it's very important to have a good idea of looking at the minimap and knowing where your teammates are at all times and looking at the voids in the map. So even if you don't have a UAV, which we'll see where the UAV comes in clutch, and it would have came in clutch, but overall, you got to know specifically where enemies are by looking at the minimap and knowing where your teammates are. You can see his teammate just spawned in this back spawn. So majority of the enemies are going to be in this left side and on the other side of the map. You can see there's a little bit of hole there, and look at there's a guy that just runs by. Obviously, you could tell that there was somebody in this general area because where the teammates are positioned. And it almost looks like the teammates are getting a little bit too far. And that's why there's people spawning on this side of the map. And since he didn't finish that guy off, the guy comes back for the revenge. So it kind of makes sense that the guy ends up coming back around. But ideally, this is where you want to be positioned, on this water fountain. And a map like Slums works pretty much like that for all the modes that are respawn game modes except for Hardpoint. You pretty much want to have a lockdown in this middle area. If you're playing Domination, if you're playing Control, Team Deathmatch, or even Kill Confirm. And this particular location of the map is so good for several different reasons. One is you have a constant head glitch at pretty much every angle. You could just kind of walk around this water fountain, get good positioning. The other part of it is you can tell directly where teammates are and pretty much where your enemies are going to be coming from. You can see right here he's flush against that wall instead of the water fountain. Obviously, he does have an SMG, so he's got to close that gap just a little bit. But overall, you still pretty much want to be on that water fountain because for the most part, he's standing right in the open. So if two enemies come around the corner like they just did, he's got to try and outgun two different people at the exact same time, which is very difficult to do. And overall, in most of the Call of Duties that we've had a much faster time to kill in general. So you could take out both people rather quickly before they get a chance to react. You won't get a lot of damage. But in Black Ops 4 with a little bit longer time to kill, it makes some of those double kills that much harder unless you're just going against bad players. I also see that this player does a pretty good job of centering. You can see how he was right on that head glitch, kind of predicting where the enemy would be. The guy came around, he was able to take him out. He goes ahead and avoid that gunfight. He knows he's going to be losing that gunfight, decides to try and reposition it. He gets right on this water fountain, comes around, in pretty good position, but instead of staying on the water fountain, push it aggressively to this left side. Gets lucky that the teammates kind of jump in, gets another kill there. But overall, there's two different ways to play this. Obviously, if you have really good reaction time, you can run around and go through the spawn. A lot of times you're going to be a reactive player versus a predictive player where you're going to be predicting where enemies are. Goes in and takes that guy out, and then he ends up getting killed from this left side. The guy ends up running through the little barricade, but I almost guarantee you if he was on that water fountain, he would have got that guy and his teammates would have cleaned up the guy he ended up getting, and he would not have died off his streak. So overall, I think I've hit home that water fountain is the power position on Slum. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the next gameplay. Overall, the two players that we've looked at are pretty good players. They can react very good. Their accuracy is pretty good, but a lot of it comes down just to positioning. And if you put yourself in a position where you're not on the power position, you can't expect to win most of those gunfights when you've made them 50-50. You ideally want every gunfight to be better than 50-50 because at the end of the day, if they're better than 50-50, you're going to win most of them. You're going to be able to go on a longer streak. So let's go ahead and get into the third breakdown. Again, if you are enjoying the video, please hit that like button. And for the third breakdown, I thought I'd include this one because it had a little bit of a funny clip, which we're going to see just in a little bit. But the other reason I want to include this one because it's a well above average gameplay. And it is not the gameplay I'm looking for these subscriber breakdowns. And when I say above average, I mean these are probably one of their best matches because they go like 40-2, 40-3, almost flawless in a lot of the cases. That's not the gameplay I want to break down because at the end of the day, that's definitely not average. Unless all you guys are running around with 10 plus KDs, I don't see that as average. I think if you have a 1.5 KD, submit a gameplay that's like a 1.5 KD. Look at those little quad feet. I wish I could get lobbies like this. This is pretty insane. Obviously, this is a stellar match, like I said. So if any of you out there are still looking to have your gameplay broken down, make sure you check out the description and comment down below with #review. And if you're still watching this video and haven't hit the like button, definitely hit the like button. And if it's under 500 likes, please get it over 500 likes. If I could do that, I'd be really appreciative of that. If you're brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on. We'll see you all in the next one. Appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.